So I am Joyce Ripianzi. I'm a partner in charge of the nonprofit sector, outsourced accounting and finance, outsourced accounting and CFO services. And I'm here with...
I'm Robin Leet. I'm a partner of business process assessments with our business and IT consulting team. So we're going to talk a little bit today about, first we're going to do a refresher. Just like any language, the more that you repeat things, the more that you talk about things, the more comfortable you're going to be with them. So we learned a lot of new terms today, new concepts. We were just talking about RPA, which is robotic process automation, where we can automate some manual tasks. We've talked a lot about AI, artificial intelligence, that uses these large language models in order to provide any sort of human touch on problem solving or decision making, and then that can be extended to a generative AI platform that actually produces things, just like Ryan was just showing us, can produce a PowerPoint or something like that. They also touched a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit more about OCR, optical character recognition. This is one of the easiest and most, I think, accessible and understandable forms of AI for finance, because we use it in things like bill.com, etc. So why are we here today with you? We want to provide you some motivation. We want to encourage you to look into any sort of technology that we've talked about today to advance your organization. If we don't, there will be a lack of any sort of competitiveness in the industry. Everyone else will be trying to advance, looking at some of these solutions. They're all going to be saving time. They're going to be saving energy. They're going to be saving money, because we're talking about FTEs. We're talking about staff being thrown at problems. So the more that we can use technology in our day-to-day activities, the more that we're going to be able to do, and the more we're going to be able to do faster. So we need to look into these solutions so that we can be fast, we can be competitive, and we can make very timely decisions in order to make them before our competition. I think also we feel the pain of staffing right now. There aren't a lot of people in seats. A lot of organizations need more people. So this not only will help you make the people that you do have more productive, but it can also draw staff in so that you are having them engaged. You're having staff that does things that are more analytical, and therefore you're more competitive because you can get better people into the roles. So today we are going to be talking to you as a C-level, CFO, COO, CEO, what your role needs to be in your organization. How do you instigate people to look into this technology, to grab a hold of this technology and to use it? So how you ought to be, how you should be setting that example, plus we're going to be going on to how to approach this within your team and how to roll it out to the rest of your organization. We're going to wrap up with a couple of little things to excite you, little ways that you can look into involving this technology in your organization today. So I think Joyce is going to talk to us first. About a poll. Everyone wake up.
Answer the poll question. How important is it for your organization to improve efficiency and productivity through digital transformation? Is it very important, somewhat important, or not important? And we're going to let you answer that question. I don't think I can advance to the next slide, so we'll give it a few minutes or a few seconds because we're tight on time. And then we're going to move into the role. Okay. Hopefully
Make sure you answer this.
Okay, we're going to go to the next slide. So the role, it's about setting the tone. And so this is entitled the CFO's role, but it really needs to be senior leadership's role. And as we see the CFO as a key member of setting the tone. So we first think you need to encourage curiosity. You need to be talking about all of the data robotics and the artificial intelligence and generative AI, and getting people curious about what's happening in the industry and what's happening in terms of transformation. You really do need to alleviate their fears and pressures. There are a lot of concerns about people losing their jobs. They think that their jobs might be automated away. And that's really what's not happening here. You have to look at it as adding value, adding another team member to the team, but allowing the people who are doing their jobs to do it more effectively and efficiently, and to elevate the way they work and to take the mundane tasks away. You want to create an environment of learning. It's very important that people understand that that as your organization grows, you want the people that work for you to grow as well. And so you want to foster an environment of learning. You want to encourage exploration and questions. So get people together, form a think tank, create what we created was an automated center of excellence where we bring together key level people to talk about what's happening in the industry, everything that you've heard here today, and create an environment where you're going to encourage them to ask questions and explore what's happening. So we want to set a timeline. I think it's important to understand that this timeline is going to be constantly changing. Yeah, the rate at which technology is advancing, the rate at which the applications we use today in accounting are being upgraded and changed, and the tools that are being added to it is one that's fast. So you're going to want to set a loose timeline and then stick to trying to update it and keep it updated. So prioritize your tasks, push forward and continue to reprioritize them. But the most important message we want to give you today is don't wait. You cannot sit back and leave this conference and say that's somebody else's issue or that's something that I'll deal with next year. I have too much on my plate. You really do have to jump in with 2 feet and don't wait, and get people talking about and thinking about how this is going to transform you, their job, and the organization.
So how do you start to establish this role? I think Ryan started upon this in some of their talks. Explore what you know first. If you know the answer, you know that the product is giving you the right answer. So explore areas that you know best with the tools first. If you put something in to Chat GPT and it doesn't come out with what you're hoping it will come out with, what you know is the right answer, maybe Chat GPT isn't the right tool for it, or maybe you need to adjust your input. But this sort of exploration will really help you to learn what tools can be used where, and it can also help you to learn who can use the right tools where. There are certain people out there that really grab onto this sort of experimentation, that really can understand it and work with it. And there are some people that this just isn't their thing. It's change, it's thinking in a really different area, in a different light. And some people, this just isn't right for them. So it's very helpful to go through these explorations with your teammates to understand where they could fall into place and really be helpful and encouraging. And you want to pick those people that this is really their thing, to be able to spread it out to those that it isn't their thing. So pick those people who are going to be the example for you. And don't be afraid to fail. I think there's no wrong answer here. It's really just adjusting to how you're going to use a solution, adjusting how you ask it to do something. Like all that stuff that Ryan was showing, that's complicated. And it probably took him more than 5 minutes to learn how to do that. So don't give up. Don't feel like there's a failure. Just keep trying and keep adjusting how you approach a product and until you find something that's right for you. And that's when you can really learn what to use where and when to use it. So now we're going to be going on to the approach. And Joyce is going to start talking to us about how to really introduce all of this to the rest of your team and get people on board with helping you through this.
So building an internal think tank involves a strategic approach, knowledge sharing, and goal setting. So as the CFO, take the lead and identify opportunities for innovation and thought leadership within the organization. Initiate projects and initiate focus on exploring emerging technologies like generative AI and their potential impact on the organization. You need to collaborate with cross-functional team members to drive these initiatives forwards, leveraging the expertise and diverse perspective of team members. And if you feel that your organization lacks this expertise, you're going to need to probably look elsewhere and look to bring in experts and consultants to help you out with this. You want to capture and share thoughts and experiences. You want to establish a platform or forum of capturing insights, ideas, and experiences that you have. So for instance, in our organization, we use Teams, and we've set up a Teams page so that we can collaborate within our own departments, and then as we can collaborate as an organization and learn from each other. You want to encourage active participation and contribution from employees and foster a culture of knowledge sharing and collaboration. You want to utilize tools such as knowledge repositories, internal newsletters, regular meetings to share what you're learning, case studies, and best practices across the organization. What we find is when we listen to other team members and other departments talk about what they're doing and how they're utilizing technology, that's when our ideas are sparked. We say, well, if you can do that with it, then we could do this with it. So that cross collaboration is very important. So set goals and stay accountable. Always ask yourself, what problems are we trying to solve and what processes are we trying to improve? And can we outline desired outcomes and potential measurable milestones? So develop a connection between your goals and how this technology that you've seen here today can assist you in meeting those goals. So it's important for everybody to take a step back and re-look at their job descriptions and what are all your team members doing and what is it about those jobs that could be be done more efficiently, and where can automation be inserted into the process.
So where do we really start? We start at the beginning. Where are you today and where do you want to go? So we've talked a lot about change in environments in the past, and I think Joyce and I actually did that a couple of years ago. So the best way to approach any of these sorts of engagements is really taking that starting point of evaluating where you actually are right now, where you want to be, and that delta is going to be how you're going to develop to get there. So since we're talking about technology right now, what technology do you currently have going on in your organization? Do you like it? Is it worth keeping? Is it worth developing upon? Is it even up to date? Is it something that is a current application? Are there upgrades or any sort of next generation that needs to be implemented? You may even decide that it's something that you want to scrap altogether and start from scratch and develop an entirely new environment. Or it could be something that you really like, where you just want to get a couple of add-ons to help with some of these areas that could benefit from RPA or any kind of AI, and just supplement it. So you really need to take a look at where you are to know if you're ready for any sort of AI or what level of AI. You do need to have some sort of a base environment to be able to add on these technologies. So figure out what you do have and where there is some room for these technical transformations.
So what are we going to do next? We're going to talk to the current vendors. So you have a current tech stack that you're using in your organization within your finance department. And many times you might not have a really good relationship with that technology company. You might not have a representative that you can reach out to. So this is the time now to evaluate all of the tools in your toolbox. Do we have a relationship? When's the last time we visited the website of this current vendor that we're using? As Robin said, is the tech we're using even up to date? Are we at the most current version of the software that we are using? Do we even understand if that software is sort of a dead-end software, or is it one that's being improved? And are they talking about ways that they're going to improve and incorporate new technology into the tech stack that you're already using? So reach out to your vendors. Look to see who their competitors are and what are their competitors doing. Then you want to look internally to look to see if there's other ways to do things better. So what are we doing that we're not using technology for? So a great example, and this goes with playing what you see on the market. We spend a lot of time here in meetings and vigorously taking notes. And the first thing that we decided to check out was an AI note taker that would sit in the meetings with us. You invite it to the meeting like it's another coworker. It vigorously takes notes for you so that you don't have to. And some of these products do wonderful summarizations and have the ability to go and play back a video and bring you right to a point where you were speaking about something. And it's really great at takeaways. What did people say they were going to leave the meetings with? So there's a good example of something that you could play with and look at technology that you might not even have in your current tech stack, on top of looking at the existing tech stack that you have. And do we want to stay with it? Do we want to start talking to other vendors? And do we want to start doing demos?
Did I skip that?
Did I go too far?
That's all right. So we like to say, look at the 3 A's for your areas for improvement: automation, augmentation, and acceleration. There's my camera. Okay. So we want to look at where you can do things less manually, where you can do more things, and where you can do things faster. So we saw a lot of examples of RPA, which is really hitting on those manual repetitive tasks. What are you doing that's really brainless, that you don't need to do, that a machine could do for you? And those are very easy areas for any sort of AI automation. What could be done better and with more data? Where could you use more data within either your GL, or even collecting it through a different application? There are attendance applications. There are demographic applications. What are you missing, and what could be applied there that you could use more data to do more analytics and make better decisions? And then where could you do things faster? Are there any sort of applications that could help you process data faster, or just get from beginning to end a little bit faster so you don't need to do a lot of the manual work in between? Then I also want to touch on using software for its intended purpose. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of applications of sorts out there in the world today. There is most likely something that's going to fit what you need. So don't try to shoehorn what you're looking for into a certain software. Continue to look, make sure that what you are looking for is well defined, so that you're not blurring the lines between applications that you have. This does come up a lot with us and with clients, where there are multiple solutions at play, but you need to know what solution is being used for which purpose, and make sure that you are really cognizant of how you're going about that decision. And you don't want to use RPA in a place where that's not really appropriate. You don't want to use Chat GPT in a place where that's not really what you're trying to solve. Just really, really try to define and stay focused on what the goal is.
So that's a great point, Robin. So let's create a roadmap for change. Let's look at the organization and let's ask ourselves, what is the largest impact with the greatest effectiveness that we can change? Because you're trying to get everybody in the organization excited about automation. So if you can look across the organization at tools that might be within your finance department but touch everybody else, those are the things that you might want to tackle first. And you might want to do it in a way that makes that's a quick change that people embrace and that people can get excited about. And then you don't want to be rolling out too many initiatives all at once. So the roadmap for change is very important, that you think across company lines, organizational lines, and see what everybody else is doing, and then ask yourself, what can we do? Because you don't want to roll out too many changes at once. You do have to look at your capital investment that's going to be needed for technology, because it's a line item we've seen on the P&L that just continues to go up. the use of software, SaaS model applications, monthly subscriptions. It's a cost that is going up. You're going to want to be cognizant of the price of things. There are a lot of products entering the market, and they're not all at the same price point. So you're going to want to see what is our goal, what problem we're trying to solve, and how can we do it with a cost efficiency as well as with an information efficiency.
And I just want to, if I can interject there, Joel, because we talk to
Absolutely.
clients a lot about this too, of that concept of an FTE and the price of that full-time employee versus a platform that's going to do it for you. We need to start to think about adjusting our budgets for this, where we don't need as many bodies necessarily. We need bodies doing different things, and we need to supplement with the technology that does come at a cost, but it's different than an employment cost. So don't shortchange yourself by thinking we only have so much for technology because we need, a certain amount of staff to hire this year. Think about how that technology could augment your staff a little bit differently.
Yeah. And you don't want to be too quick and you don't want to be too slow, right? So we don't want you to be that person that stands in the rain when the new iPhone's coming out and you have no idea like why you're buying it and what that new tech is. We want you to be the person who is cautiously optimistic about the new things that are being brought forward, and that you can then get educated about it and pick the right option for you. So, when I talk about the automation of a note taker, which seems like a very simple thing. There's so many products on the market. And do you use something like Copilot, which you've heard people talking about because it's embedded within all the Microsoft products, or do you use an external product that's not connected like a Fathom? And it asks, and it can do so much more than Copilot can do. But is Copilot going to get caught up with them in 1 month or 2 months? So it doesn't pay to be too quick to make a change, but we really want to focus on you educating yourself, having a roadmap, and then making the decision, at the right point. So we want to be patient. We want change always will require education and training. As you can see today, there were parts of this session today that I wasn't quite sure what was being said. It was sometimes the tech speak can get above my CFO level because I'm an accountant, not a tech person. So don't be afraid to admit what you know and what you don't know, and educate everybody in the organization about the acronyms, the use of these products. Make sure there's an avenue for people to ask questions. And so there's some way for them to submit questions and people are available to answer questions as they come in. Do focus on continuous improvement because you're just never going to be done. From what I've seen in the last 10 years, it's one step just leads to the next step. And it is a thought process of continuous improvement. We really want the CFO to be part of the cheerleader group. We want you to be the people that talk about the technology in a positive light and how can it benefit people and benefit the organization and be thought of as a positive reinforcement and not something that people are afraid to adopt. I think you were going to read the next poll, Robin.
Yep, this is the last one, guys. So time to wake up, and here we go.
If you want CPE, you have to answer the poll.
That's right. Have your friend poke you.
Yes.
All right. So how interested are you in your organization implementing emerging technologies such as RPA, AI, and LLM? Everything that we've talked about today. Are you very interested, somewhat interested, or not interested at all? I would recommend not to answer the last one. Otherwise, you will probably be hearing from one of us.
I think they automatically get thrown out of the session if they answer the last one.
I believe so. And an angry accountant will show up at your door. That's the worst.
Oh, there's 17 people.
There we go. Uh-oh.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Thank you. Okay. Good to hear that you guys are interested. Okay.
So here is our inspiring slide. It's very small because there's so much to talk about, but I did want to whet people's appetite for some of the things that are on the market. You don't know what you don't know, and maybe there really is a solution for your problem that you had no idea existed. I think a lot of people use Bill right now. There are a number of different solutions that are like Bill. So they will help you with workflows for approvals, payment workflows. Divvy and Ramp also do credit card management, which is really awesome if your organization has a lot of credit cards out there. Really helps with your coding. Really great, easy way to get involved into AI, and they connect with a lot of different platforms. We talked about RPA, which uses UiPath to create bots to do that manual work for you. If you're interested in that, feel free to contact us. We do a lot of work in this area. Chat GPT, huge out there. Copilot, the Microsoft thing that is quite the same as Chat GPT. All of these are generative AI, LLM models. They've been really helpful with easy stuff like, I think, preparing this slideshow. I think my background is from AI, from something that we did. All of these things where you think that there might not be a solution out there. I bet you there probably is. So take a look and see how these things could possibly help with your day-to-day activities. Sora is another one that's out there for a lot of video content, which could be helpful for website content, things like that. All of you health centers out there, don't think that we've forgotten about you. There are, IBM has a product about diagnosing things in the health industry. So you could use that. I wouldn't recommend solely using that, but it could help with any sort of ideas. And then Docet, Grantable, also they do a lot of generative AI for products. So internally, if you're looking for like SOPs or any sort of process documentation workflows, Docet can be a great thing that will at least give you a start. None of these are really expected to be the end game necessarily, but they can be really helpful to get you a start and give you something that you can that you can turn into something that's a little bit more elevated. And then chatbots. We all experience chatbots. Every time you go on any sort of a website, there is a stupid chatbot. But think about all of the time that helps with the owner. So I'm not sure if this is something that would be applicable to your organization, but it could be, and it could save a lot of time for you. So all of these are different applications that could come from AI and that could be involved with your organization to help you out. So
that's all great stuff, Robin. All great stuff. So to move to the questions, there's just a comment in here that this is very overwhelming. And why don't we bring Robin back? That's great. I do get that this is really overwhelming. When you start listening to all of the change and transformation that's going to occur, you have to take a deep breath, and you just have to figure out small steps, big impact. Where is it going to make the most impact so that we can get people engaged? We've heard people say that this is one of the most transformative technology changes that's going to happen since the invention of the internet, invention of email. And so I don't even know how I lived without email before. I really couldn't even remember somebody asked me the question. I mean, we're in email all day long. It is a huge part of what we do. And I feel like we're going to be talking in 5 years and we're going to be saying the same thing about artificial intelligence, robotics, generative AI. It's just going to happen over time. So don't sit back, be engaged, and figure out what to do about it. There's also a lot of questions in here about note takers and confidentiality, client data. It's obviously a concern for people. From what we've experienced is that the note taker is the property of the person who's in charge of that account, that note-taking account. And it's not something that you would put out in a place where anybody could watch it, read the notes. It's no different than your own personal notebook that you might carry in your briefcase or your notes that you take on your laptop. So if you do have concerns about certain products, confidentiality, that's when you're going to want to reach out to the experts. We have technology experts here in the security area that you're going to want to reach out to about different products, because all of our clients are in different spaces and have different rules around security and data privacy that might impact them differently than the next nonprofit. But with that, Any last thoughts, Robin?
I think that's it. Thank you all for your time. We do look forward to talking to you about this further. And by all means, don't feel overwhelmed. Talk to us if you want to, and we can provide some suggestions on where to apply this.
Yes, we're certainly here to help. Please reach out. Thank you.
Thank you.